Hello everyone and welcome to Golden VCR. It is... What day is today? Wednesday? It is Wednesday, March 15th, 2024. This is going to be a relatively short stream. It's our last one before I leave for 2 weeks. Let's do it. Who's ready for tapes? Shop-a-dibba-doo, slop-a-dabba-dee, hop-ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-da-da-da, diddle-lee, diddle-lee-da-ba-dee-ba-bo, ha-da-da-diddle-lee, shop-a-da-ba-da. Welcome, everyone. Hi, it's Golden VCR. We're here. We're going to watch a couple of tapes, and then I'm going to go pack a suitcase and take my dog to a dog sitter. I hope you're all doing well today. Hope you're all doing well. I have picked a few tapes. There's a lot of boxes back there. I have been to the post office. I have gotten all the tapes that were sent in as up to yesterday. I didn't practice, actually, Trill. It's all just pure talent. I have not scanned any of the tapes that I have gotten from the post office lately. I've been packing. I've been planning a trip. Thank you to Will Peters, by the way, for a 4-month resub. We're at 4 months now. Excellent. But I did go ahead and scan one set of tapes. I don't know if you can see those. Hey, is this a Peter Gabriel? Yes. So, we have a 4-month resub from Tom Coate. Thank you, Tom Coate. And we have a 4-month resub from Jacebook. Wow, 4 months of spinning VHS tapes and getting Kirk Franklin songs stuck in our heads. Yes, indeed. Thank you to Alex and the community for a great time, and here's to more greatness. Thank you, Jacebook. And thank you, Jacebook, for sending in so many Eyewitness tapes. There are 2 more from Jace that are supposed to be arriving today, but they should be fine to sit in the P.O. box while I'm gone because they'll fit in there. And, yes, let's pull up the website real quick. I have added all of the Eyewitness tapes. Thank you to Green Day Rock and Jacebook for sending in a whole lot of Eyewitness. We're very well refreshed on Eyewitness. And I figured I've been pretty behind on getting tapes in, but I would do this as a treat. So we have at least a lot of Eyewitness to look forward to when I come back from Japan in 2 weeks. And we can watch one of these today. Let's think about which one you want to see. To start us off, though, I have chosen a tape for timing reasons that will work out. This is Cuisinart Savor the Good Life How-To Video Custom Prep 11 Food Processor. And it has been rewound, which is good because I didn't check that. Let's get this stream on the road. How to use your food processor for use with the Cuisinart Custom Prep 11 Food Processor. Or I suppose food processor if you're a Canadian. Let me just pull it up so I can get the deets. This was sent in by West Coast Deb. Thank you, Deb. And we are good to go. Are you ready to process? You'll never chop another vegetable again.
Congratulations, and welcome to the Cuisinart family of product owners who have discovered how to savor the good life right at home with family and friends. Hi, my name is Mary Rogers. I'm one of the many people at Cuisinart who have worked on bringing you our new Cuisinart Custom Prep 11 food processor. You may not know this. Cuisinart introduced the original food processor to the consumer kitchen over 25 years ago. Ever since, we've been making it better. Over the years, we've added more models, more accessories, and more functions. Today, with the introduction of the Custom Prep 11 food processor,
If you, as a reminder, or if you weren't here last time,
capabilities to food processing.
we have friends
More
now.
streamlined with a convenient solid-state touchpad and automatic low control, it's the
We had
next
some
step
good fun
in
with
the
friends
revolution
last
we
time.
started so many years ago.
Blenda!
30 minutes,
Her name is Blenda.
Get the most from your Custom Prep 11 food processor. First, we will introduce you to all of the parts and accessories that come with the Custom Prep 11. Then we will review how easy it is to assemble and use your food processor. Then we will see time-saving tips and special techniques that will make food preparation part of the fun of entertaining friends and family. Bill Brewa, chef instructor from the Culinary Institute of America, will show
Buddy,
you
a friend.
several of our favorite recipes that are included in your recipe and instruction booklet.
He looks friendly.
Familiarize you with the brand new automatic low control. Bread expert Charlie Vanover will demonstrate how to make foolproof pizza
Blendy.
and artisan-style bread.
At least it's not
get
sunny.
comfortable and get ready to see just how easy it's going to be to savor the good life. Let's take a look at what came with your new Custom Prep 11 food processor.
This tape is surprisingly personal.
Take a moment to look at the top unpacking
I
instructions.
was expecting it to be more
on the
more
top
produced.
curtain flap. Place the instruction guide and your recipe book somewhere handy. Remember when unpacking that our blades and discs are precision stainless steel cutting tools with extremely sharp cutting edges. Always hold the chopping blade and the dough blade by the white hubs. The shredding and slicing discs should be held by the outer rims only. Keep your fingers away from the cutting edges.
Don't put your fingers in the sharp zone.
Assembling your new
Oh my god.
and once it's put together, you'll find it takes up very little.
Ah, you're right. You're right.
Glad to know that all the
Everything is
accessories
sunny.
in The traditional Cuisinart
11.
cup food processors are compatible with this new
Did
model.
you hear that dub?
Now let's put this together.
Doing some ADR there to
Start
fix
with
fix the
newly
line.
designed motor base. It houses a powerful induction motor that won't bog down, even when mixing very heavy doughs.
Touchpad controls feature pulse, on, and off, as well as a brand new automatic low control.
They operate with the touch of a finger.
I do love it when the
and wipe
penguins
clean
get
in
pixel
seconds.
sunglasses.
The 11.
Cup Lexan work bowl is extremely durable, resistant to both hot and cold temperatures, and goes right into the dish.
They're doing some real
cleanup.
crude splicing on this
Place the
audio.
work bowl onto the motor base with the handle facing the front and positioned just to the left of the center of the unit. Turn it counterclockwise until you hear it click into place. Let's look at that again from the side. Notice how it clicks into place. Next, pick up the chopping blade, holding it carefully by the hub. Place it onto the shaft using the icon to properly line it up.
Let's admire all of our Eyewitness tapes
The
now.
blade is placed onto the shaft in the same manner as the chopping blade.
Look at that.
Designed for use with the new automatic low control, exclusive to the Custom Prep 11 food processor.
It's time to give
Perfect bread dough, pizza dough, and more.
some points, I
Shows
think.
exactly how it goes later in the tape.
Green Day Rock.
To attach the slicing or shredding disc, place the stem onto the upturned disc using the symbols to align it properly. Then push the stem down and turn it clockwise to snap it into place. To use either disc, simply place the stem onto the shaft in the work bowl. Before placing the cover onto the work bowl, remove the pusher assembly from the feed tube. Now, place the cover onto the work bowl with the feed
Which
tube
Eyewitness
to the left
tape
of
is
the work bowl.
most relevant to my trip? I would think Volcano.
Clockwise to lock it into place. Notice the size of the feed
Yep,
tube.
thank you. I have
It's
credited
1.5
points
times larger than
to
any
Green
other.
Day Rock and Jace Book for sending in these.
Activate the interlock mechanism
These,
of the Custom
tapes.
Prep 11. Simply insert the pusher assembly into
Yeah,
the
in
feed
fact-
tube, making sure to place the metal guide into
I've
the
spent the
tube
last,
on
like,
the cover before
few
dropping the
days just
assembly into place.
planning out the
Notice
trip.
that the pusher assembly has a small cylindrical insert.
We all have.
This is a small food pusher.
Everybody I know has a
Can be
different
turned clockwise and
style of like
when adding
vacation
small
trip
items or
planning.
liquids, even during the processing.
Some of our friends are very
That's all there is to it. As soon as you plug it into the electrical outlet, you'll
very
find
good
a
at
couple of food
pre-planning and
processors
like
ready
planning
for
things
your
way ahead of time, and they want to have everything like planned out and look at all. And they get excited looking at all the things they might be able to do and building lists and thinking about, you know, how to build the perfect
Let's see
itinerary
what you can do with the extremely versatile
for like
chopping
months
board.
and months and months before the trip.
It's indispensable.
And
when it comes to
I respect that. Like
chopping parsley.
it's fun to get that like enjoyment out of looking forward to something. But I just can't do that.
Onions.
I just want to like not plan too much. I want my planning to be commensurate with like the urgency of it, so I don't really care that much about like the exact details until the trip is really close. I just want to have like, okay, well, here's the city we're going to be in on these
Just
dates,
press and release the pulse at
and then we'll go
intervals
from
of
there.
1 second or less to get just the
So within the past
consistency
week,
you
I've been that's
want.
finally
Let's take a
kicked in,
look
and
at
I've
what
been
the
like,
slicing disc can do.
oh, I'm excited to plan stuff
Simply
now.
insert the disc.
So
Place
I've been
the left slice
obsessively
into the feed tube.
looking at like
Insert the pusher assembly.
transit routes and
Press the
train
button on the
timetables
left
and
line
booking
to guide the food.
hotels and intercity
Look how
travel
quickly
and
you
stuff.
can make beautiful slices of
Getting it all planned out. I got a calendar set up so like
cucumbers.
I just have really granular events that are like, go be at this place at this time so you can board this train
Peppers.
with this reservation number so that you can get to your next destination on time. So I don't. All I have to worry about is like, what's the next event and when do I need to, be there.
Shredding disc. is
I don't
a
have to
real
stress
time
about
saver
any of the
too.
details because I've already figured it out.
Again, insert the appropriate disc.
So that's what I've been doing instead of
Place selected
scanning
items into
tapes,
the
is just
feed
planning
tube
that
and insert
itinerary.
The pusher assembly.
But one of the places I'm planning to go
Shredding or
is
slicing large quantities of food. Look how quickly you can shred cheese.
in the back of my head. I'm like, is this? Oh no, are these spoilers for the vlog? But it's also like my human life that I'm leading,
And
so I feel like I can talk about it.
Be sure to turn the machine off.
Yeah, one of the
during
places
processing.
I'm planning to go is the island of
Insert the
Kagoshima,
slices of small
or the
flavors
city of
into the
Kagoshima, which is on the island, the southern island of
removing the small
Kyushu.
food pusher from
And
the feed
Kagoshima
tube,
is
inserting the cucumber and applying
it's the
pressure.
city that has like the huge volcano.
It only takes a few seconds.
So it erupts like
Remember,
a few
this
hundred
feed
times
tube is
every
large
year,
enough
and
to
it
let you
is
slice
frequently
and
raining
some
ash,
slices
and they have like cool hot springs and stuff that are
Now
all
that you know how to
geothermal.
assemble and use your new food processor, we have some great.
So yeah, I mean, Eyewitness Volcano would
you
be
can find
would be
in
my
the
choice.
Custom Prep 11 recipe booklet. Enjoy.
Ooh, corn salsa.
Okay, let's get started with a fresh tomato and corn salsa. This is a really great after-school treat and an impromptu sauce that goes wonderfully with a piece of chicken or fish from the grill. Before you begin, it's always a great idea to get your ingredients laid out. And if anything needs to be cut up, now's the time to do it. A good rule of thumb is 1-inch pieces for anything
It
that
might
needs
be
to go
Monkey
into the food
Town. I'm not
processor.
sure.
So let's begin. I've got an onion here. That goes into the food processor. I have a jalapeno pepper. Now I've cleaned.
I
this
wish
with
I
the
had
ribs and
learned
the
more
seeds.
Japanese.
That's important because
I
most
did
of the meat is
Duolingo
in the ribs and the seeds.
for like
I'll add
several
that,
months, but
make
that's not
sure
really the
you
best way to
don't close
learn
your eyes,
Japanese
because
for
if you do,
travel.
chances are you won't be able to finish watching this video until tomorrow. And now for the cilantro.
And I wasn't
Cilantro
very
goes
like
in.
it was really helpful to learn hiragana and katakana, and then
And we're ready to process.
the lessons started getting
Press
into
and
stuff
hold
that I
the
just
pulse button for about 5 seconds.
it's just such a slog of like, my little brother is also an office worker,
There we
and
are.
I really just care about travel
Open it up. I think
phrases,
it's a good
so I
idea
kind of
to
lost
always scrape
the
down
drive to
sides
keep doing
of
it
the work
more
bowl
than once a day.
and press all the ingredients to the bottom. Okay,
Oh, that's super
Now-
cool, Tro.
we're going to add the tomatoes to the food processor. And we're going to season this with a couple of tablespoons of fresh lime juice.
I can do basic. I think I can get around just fine though, because I can be like,
There we are.
I can go to a
And
restaurant
we're
and be
gonna
like,
press the pulse button 4 or 5
Nama
times.
biru futatsu onegaishimasu. Ah, kore hitotsu onegaishimasu. And I
There
can
we
go
are.
to a hotel
The beauty
and be
of this
like,
clear work bowl is that
I
you
have
can
all my
monitor the texture of the
itineraries
salsa
and
while the
reservations
food
and stuff
processor
printed
does
out.
the work.
most of them in
Final
Japanese
ingredients are gonna
too.
be added now. I've got
So I
fresh
can-
corn, and if you
I
can't
feel like
get
I'll be
fresh
fine.
corn,
I was fine last time with
probably
less,
a good
far
substitute.
less Japanese
So add
knowledge.
that,
So
and then I'm going to season it with just a little bit of salt. I'm going to pulse
すみません。
the food processor
日本語
once just to combine
少し
the
わかります。
ingredients. Really wanna cut
でも、チェックインください。
Okay.
レザベーションとパスポート。ここで
Good
す。
idea to let this salsa sit for about an hour to let the flavors mingle.
I feel like that works well enough.
Okay, we're going to put it right into a bowl and enjoy it.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mentioned noonish before, and then I wanted to just go live a little early because I have
Really delicious.
a little bit of scheduled pressure. Sorry for the short notice. Ooh,
When the weather
gazpacho.
turns warm, cold soups become popular, and there's no cold soup as popular as gazpacho. The color and texture of that soup really help dress up a table when you entertain. All the recipes I'm making today you can find in the instruction and recipe guide that comes with your food processor. Now I've gotten a head start by laying out some of the vegetables that are going into our gazpacho. For this recipe we're going to use the chopping blade. I'm going to begin by mincing
Well, I'm
garlic
glad you
and
can enjoy
jalapenos,
some
and the way to do that
a little bit of VHS content
is to
today, Zelda
press
Master,
the
and I hope you
pulse button
can
for about 5
remember your grandfather fondly.
The reason I want to mince this before any of the other ingredients go in is because I'm not interested in anybody getting a big mouthful of jalapeno. So I'm going to scrape
Hey, that is a 4-month
bottom of the
resub
bowl.
from seemingly Jess.
The next
Hooray for
ingredients
4 months
go
of
in
hanging out and enjoying some tapes.
scallions.
Thank you, Jess.
Also green peppers
If you got that resub,
and some fresh cilantro. I want to
I don't know how they work. I assume it comes up with something that's like, hey, your subscription is renewed. Do you want to send a message? Please do send the message, because
Here
then
we
you
go.
get points.
There we are. Now, at this point, I'm going to take these flavorings out of the bowl and put them into our mixing bowl right here. And then we can carry on with the rest of the recipe. All right. Now,
Tall hat
the next
Terry.
ingredient to go in is the chopped tomatoes.
Sometimes the chroma
I
keying
want to
doesn't work,
coarsely chop these. So we'll
depending
put them
on
in,
the way the background gets generated.
get the food processor put back together again. And
Jazzy.
pulse it 5 or 6 times.
God damn it. All of this effort into inventing the AI technology that's going to destroy our society,
Nice
and
coarse chop on these tomatoes.
when you ask it for a cute name for something, it's just like, well, I'll take the first syllable and add Y.
You can hold the blade from below to keep it from falling out, and I think it helps make the job just a little bit easier. Now,
Oh, hi.
take some tomato juice, add that to the top,
Oh, okay.
and at this point,
Could you give me a
normally
pastry?
I'm gonna use the slicing disc. I'm going to take the blade out and replace it with a slicing
Give me a
disc,
donut, please.
and we're going to use this to slice some
Surprise me. Thank you,
slicing
thank you.
disc. I'm going to remove the food pusher from the center, and I've taken some cucumbers and sliced them lengthwise. They've been peeled, they've been seeded, and they've been cut in half so that they will fit right into the feed tube. I'm going to turn the food processor on, and we can add those to our gazpacho. At this point, I just want to mix all the ingredients together, and we still have to season this. I think a little bit of lemon juice is appropriate, and we'll season it with salt and pepper.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then finally stir.
I love the
everything
VCR
together
controls on that
until
food
done.
processor.
Now, I would take this, cover it, and refrigerate it until
Rufus,
it's ready to
a
serve.
big old Canadian teddy bear detective. Look at him.
I like to serve it with a big dollop of sour cream and maybe just a sprig of fresh herbs. That's a great soup, and I couldn't have done it without the food processor.
Curly
I
the
don't think there's a
cucumber.
better way to start a summer evening's meal.
Good, he's not just cucumby.
People are often intimidated by stir fries because of all the slicing and dicing. With the food processor, it really makes stir fries a breeze. Let's get started. I've got some Parmesan
They
cheese.
keep it's
and I'm gonna take
clear
it
that they
to
said
the
like
feed tube.
a product name of the food processor during the recording, and then they're like
Freshly grated
abruptly
Parmesan.
cutting it out so that they just say food processor.
Now, there's a trick I want to share with you. If you take your finger and put it up inside the blade, you can hold it in place, and it makes it very,
Oh my
very
God, that's a good trick.
just to empty the bowl.
I had no idea.
The next ingredients I want to chop up are garlic and ginger, and we'll put those into the bowl as well, and mince them up with the pulse button.
Oh, well, that's very sweet.
Okay, I don't think you could mince garlic and ginger any easier than that. We're going to replace the chopping blade, so I'm going to remove it now, and we'll reserve this minced garlic and ginger until later on. Don't worry about getting the bowl perfectly clean. This is a stir fry, and
I swear to God, if
we'll end
this
up
friend's
in the
name is
same place
Bulby.
Okay, we're going to replace the chopping blade with the slicing disc, and we'll carry on. The first thing we're going to slice are these wonderful red peppers.
Garly the Great.
Into a wide feed tube.
He has like steampunk
Machine on,
goggles.
And there we are. I'm going to put the carrots into the feed tube, laying horizontal. We'll turn the machine on, and all right. Now for the broccoli, I'm going to be using the
Garlic. A steampunk garlic,
Begin
okay.
with the stalks. Most people throw the stalks away, but what I like to do is take the peel from the outside of the stalks, which tends to be very, very fibrous, and the inside eats very, very nicely. I'll put these into the feed tube, turn it on. Okay, the broccoli stems are all cut up. I'm going to take them out of the food processor and free the bowl so that we can get on with the chicken. Now, the chicken breasts,
The
I cut them
broccoli,
in half
wow.
crosswise,
Wonderful.
and I put them into the freezer for
Couldn't even
just
call it
about
Brocky.
20 minutes. What that's done is it's taken the chicken and firmed it up a little bit. Now let me show you a little trick. If you take the tip of a knife and just press it gently into the chicken, it goes in with a little bit of resistance. That's exactly what you want. So,
Hey, 4-month reset from Haley,
put it
92.
into the lard feed tube.
And 2-month reset from Necessoro, 123. Thank you all very much.
And
It is wonderful to have you all
just
here.
like a dream. All right, I'm going to take
Oh,
the
yeah.
chicken.
Oh, baby, you got a
marinate it
stew
in
going.
sesame oil for just a little while. Look at those beautiful slices. If I'd tried to do that by hand, it would have taken forever. It's a good idea, once the chicken is all mixed up, to make
I
sure
made
that the
a- I made a
hands
soup
and the
recently.
processor are thoroughly washed.
From scraps and random veggies. It was pretty good.
All right, I have my stir-fry pan preheated. A lot of
Hey, Land 144,
I'm going to introduce the chicken to the
who you
pan.
might recall was our first inaugural subscriber back when we got affiliate.
And we want to cook this just
Has
until it
resubscribed for
becomes
4
opaque.
months.
It's easy to overdo it with chicken breast. Now, while this is cooking, I'm going to take just a second to mix together cornstarch and chicken stock. Just a little at a time. I want to make sure that there's no lumps
4 months
in
from
there.
Bella Bunny.
This is
Hello.
going to thicken our
Hello,
sauce
Bella.
a little bit later on. Okay. The smell of this sesame oil is wonderful. You can see the chicken starting to get opaque now. When it's completely opaque, that's your clue that it's done. We'll take it out of the stir-fry pan and reserve it until later. All right, there's our chicken all done. I'm going to take it out of the stir-fry pan and put it onto a warm
Fun
plate
fact,
just so it doesn't
true.
get overcooked. Now the fun part. The stir-fry pan's back on the heat.
Is he still doing the
I'm
same
gonna
stir fry?
introduce a little bit of sesame oil and the chopped garlic and ginger.
Oh my God.
We'll give that a chance to get nicely aromatic before we move on.
This tape has a rating,
It's a good idea to
like a
introduce
content
the
rating, a parental
depending on
rating.
how long they need to cook. So things like
Do you want to
carrots
guess what it's rated?
take longer to cook, go in first, and things like broccoli or peppers, which cook more readily, go into the pan towards the end. As soon as you notice the smell of the garlic, it's time to move on, because if you let it sit for any longer, it's going to begin to burn.
Rated AD for absolutely delicious.
And the carrots.
Oh, Cuisinart.
And we'll give those about 30 or 45 seconds to cook. It's a good idea to keep them moving in the stir fry so that they don't burn or scorch. Okay, now that these have cooked a little bit, I'm going to add the ingredients that don't need quite so long.
Ah, sorry, Swift. Yeah,
And
I'll have to.
the sliced red peppers.
A feature that would be pretty easy to add to my back end would be just having like a Discord webhook that posts a message whenever I go live.
We'll add that.
That just pings everyone.
That'll help steam
But I didn't want to do. That would be easy to set up, but I didn't want to do. Oh, it scoops something absolutely delicious.
Soy sauce if you're
Of course.
your salt. Also good alternatives.
I don't want to add here. I figure like the respectful way of doing that is to have a role that people can self apply, like opt into, and then ping that role, so that the notifications are opt in. Because as an ethically minded software developer, I hate unsolicited notifications more than anything.
That's your indication that.
But yeah, I totally went live before I had talked about going live. But don't worry, you haven't missed much. We're just getting a pretty a chill but low budget cooking show from the food processor people at Cuisinart.
This a little bit earlier. And we'll toss everything together. I'm going to add some cheese at this point too. Some of the Parmesan cheese that we grated earlier. That'll help bind this sauce a little bit as well. Maybe about half of our cheese. That smells.
Yeah, we've got, courtesy of Green Day and Jace, we've got all of these Eyewitness tapes.
Okay.
So we're going to watch one after this.
More cheese over the top.
And that'll actually be our stream for today. Because I got stuff to do. Penne Pete.
There you are. With the fruit processor by your side, there's no reason you can't make a delicious, healthy stir fry like this every night of the week. I've got some beautiful basil here, and we're going to make a batch of pesto. In the food processor, it couldn't be easier. For this recipe, we're going to be using the chopping blade. First step is to cut up some Parmesan cheese, and I think it's important to have the machine running and drop it piece by piece through the feed tube.
It is odd that Swiffer Sweeper's message about macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving did not appear on my overlay. Oh well, I'm sure subsequent messages will.
Okay, that looks good.
I swear to God, there's no code that there's no if user is Swiffer Sweeper don't show the message. It's all, you can look at the source.
All right. The next step is to chop the
we have friend
images
now.
The garlic.
They work the same way as ghosts. You just do friend, and they're 200 fun points.
In they go. All right. Now, I'm going to scrape the sides down just very briefly. And it's time to add the basil.
Interesting. Well, I'll have to look at that.
Chop this by hand. It might take you 15 minutes or so. Let's see how long it takes in the food processor.
There could be a bug. It could be a weird IRC thing. I don't know. I'm sure if I took the time, I could replicate it and figure it out.
Chopped.
And I should do that at some point.
Okay.
Thank you for the Peter Gabriel well wishes, by the way.
Machine running. We're going to introduce the oil into this. That looks good. And to finish the pesto, we'll add either pine nuts. In this case, I'm going to be using walnuts, and I think they're interchangeable. A little bit of salt, and the cheese that we grated earlier. It's a good idea not to let it run too long after the cheese has been added. Otherwise, it can warm up and start to melt.
Gabrielito. Ooh.
Just mix it until it's all combined nicely and the nuts are chopped. I've cooked some pasta ahead of time, and we'll add the nice fresh pesto to it. Okay. Now the pesto can be stored in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 days, but if you do store it for any length of time, make sure to film the top with a little bit of olive oil to keep it from turning color. Today I use spaghetti for this dish, but you can use just about any pasta that you have on hand.
Look, that's great. And his name is Sonny, for God's sake.
And what we made here is a
I can't handle the Sonnies.
Take a look at this.
Rocky Raccoon, okay, I get it.
People just don't get tired of. This recipe has 2 parts, and I'm going to show you how to make both in the food processor. The first is a flaky pastry, the second the apples with crumb topping. Let's get started. I've got all-purpose flour right here, and I'm going to scrape it into the work bowl. And we're going to mix that with a little bit of baking powder and a little bit of salt. Now let's just run this for maybe
Apple
10
Annie.
seconds, just to give the flour, baking powder, and salt a chance to mix together.
Good one, Trill.
You might think of this almost like sifting.
Oh, Rusty Joy.
So in goes the butter and just a little bit of shortening. Now before I mix this, let me just tell you what's going to happen. We're going to mix it until it looks like coarse meal. There shouldn't be any pieces of butter or shortening any larger than about a pea. Here we go. Just pulse it on and off. Okay, let me just show you what this looks like for your own reference. You can see a few pieces of butter in there still, but they're really not very large. Now, when you add the water, add only about half the maximum amount. That way, if you want to add more, you can, but you don't add so much that the dough gets sticky.
Oh, I love this apple person.
And again, the water is ice
This looks
cold,
like one of the,
just like the shortening.
like one of those big and vulnerable enemies that chases you in a Resident Evil game.
I want you to take care at this point not to overmix the dough, otherwise it'll be tough. Now let's take a look. When you reach in, it may look a little bit rough, but grab a handful and see if you can make it stick together when you squeeze it. This feels like it needs just a little more water.
Yeah, that I get it. 1984.
Okay, take the blade out and just take care not to cut yourself. I'll set that aside and we'll put it out onto the counter.
Reggie. Yeah, that was totally
Gently press it together.
King George III's nickname.
This recipe has
Reggie.
enough pie dough for 2 pies, so we're going to divide it into half before we refrigerate it. I'll divide it into half.
Liberty, the first president.
Since we're
Okay, so
rolling
like an
out, I'll flip it
allegorical
round.
president.
I'll shape it round from this point on.
I was trying to see if
have
it
some
like
dough that I made
had
earlier.
historical knowledge and used that.
So we don't have to
And
wait.
it
for
seems
to
like it
chill.
doesn't.
And we can start rolling out this pastry. I'm going to dust the work surface lightly. Not too much flour, just enough to keep it from sticking. A little bit on top of the dough. And when you roll, work from the center of the dough to the outside. Turn it occasionally to make sure it's not sticking to the table.
That's a little horrifying, and I love
If
it.
you feel like you need a little bit more flour, go ahead and add it. Make little corrections along the way so it stays nice and round. And we
I
want
love
to
that
roll
he's
it down
blending a bowl full of sausages.
to about 1/8 of an inch thick, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to fold it in half, and then in half again. I'm going to transfer the dough into the plate and unfold it. And what I like to do, just
Oh,
to build up
Ziggy.
the edge of the dough a little bit, is to fold
Everyone's favorite
the
Earth Bound
overhanging
enemy.
dough underneath, just like this, all the way around. And we have to choose some sort of a decorative border to put on. Usually what I do is pinch the dough between my fingers, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. A little bit of flour on your fingers, and just like this, all the way around. Okay, we're just about done here. In the crumb topping, We're going to put brown sugar, pecans, some rolled oats, a little bit of flour, and some softened butter. Now the only tricky part here is just to mix this so it looks like coarse crumbs. If you mix
Oh,
it
his
too
body
much,
is so ready. Buddy boisterous.
so we'll pulse it on and off a few times. Just keep your eye on it. Okay, that looks great. I'm going to take it out of the work bowl.
Crispy, a man made of
Discard it
pie
for the time
crust.
being.
That one's very abstract.
Okay, let's move on to the apples. We're going to change from the chopping blade to the slicing disc. So let's get that in place. I'm going to put the top on.
That's how you use the
I'm gonna
disc.
start to put in my
Okay.
apples.
This all makes so much sense. I thought that thing went in the bottom, and I always wondered why. Hi.
That's that.
Oh my god, a
For the
donut.
time being, we're going to live right here in a pie shop.
Oh, orange Tic Tacs, thank
Over
you.
the top of the apples.
I'll eat them on the
Roll
plane.
back onto the food processor.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
put the chopping blade in. The custard is a simple custard. Eggs.
Hey, 4 months from missing no leader. Time to set up a bed
Got
frame.
sour
Good luck with that.
cream, Sugar.
Like a-
Flour. Vanilla. And then something that a lot of people leave
you
out
want
of their
donut?
pastries. And that is salt. This needs to be mixed together just until it's homogeneous. Okay, that looks good, but I think it's always a great idea to stop and scrape the sides of the bowl, just in case any of the sugar or the eggs got thrown up there and they haven't gotten mixed in. So scrape it all down to the bottom of the work.
Yeah, that is Haley's boopy shirt.
And then
It's
just
very
mix it
fashionable.
Very, very briefly. Let's put the custard right over the top of the apples. Now, here's a little trick that'll save you some time. To clear off any batter that remains on the blade, I'm just going to put it back on the base for a second and spin the blade, and all the batter will be thrown to the outside. Look how clean that blade is.
You know, this donut kind of reminds me of a song.
Final step is to put our crumb topping on. I wouldn't press this on, just sprinkle it on nice and light.
Wait, shit. I was supposed to fix this donut by cramming God's love into its hole before I
Now this
ate it.
pie needs to bake in a preheated 375-degree oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. I'd make a point of checking it after a half an hour just to see how it's coming along. But the result is exactly what you see here. A wonderful, delicious apple crumb pie.
Double chocolate chunk cookies.
There's something about homemade cookies that makes everybody feel great. So let's do an experiment. We'll double the chocolate.
Oh, the Wonder
to
Oven.
make everybody feel better.
I think we're all still scarred from the Wonder
We're going to
Oven.
be using the food processor as a mixer. in
Donnie the donut-filled Jesus, a Jesus filling donuts.
large chunks. So, in goes the white chocolate.
I'm not going to
As
question
you can
any
see,
part
I'm
of that.
using the chopping blade, and now some dark chocolate as well. The lid goes on, and we'll pulse this just to chop the chocolate. Okay, that looks just about right. Now, I'm going to set this aside for now, and we'll carry on with this recipe. And we'll mix together the dry ingredients. First the flour, pecans, baking soda, and a little bit of salt. Let's mix this together just until it's combined. We can set that aside right on top of the chocolate. Next, we'll add white sugar as well as brown sugar and 2 eggs. And this needs to mix until it's nice and creamy. It should take about a minute. Okay, this looks nice and light.
My mom had one of those
I'm gonna take this opportunity to
Oster, I think is the
salt it
brand,
quickly.
or Oster stand mixers from the 70s. It
And
was
let
very
it
like
slightly soft. Let this mix
yellow and brown
It's nice and creamy.
and plasticky, but it was a very good mixer.
Okay, That looks grand. I'll scrape the sides of the bowl down one last time.
And
And then we'll
it died when I was like a teenager.
and the chocolate as well.
You could just like smell burning coming out of the motor.
Pulse this 5 or 6 times.
But I found,
Until it's
I went on
combined.
eBay and found a new, like the base for it, and replaced that for her, and I was a real hero.
Okay, the dough looks good. We're going to drop the cookies onto an ungreased baking sheet by heaping tablespoons, I think. And let me show you how that looks quickly. Give the cookies enough room to spread. Okay, there's the last one. Now these cookies need to be baked in a preheated 375-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Pull them out when they're nicely golden brown. When they come out, take them from the cookie sheet, put them onto a cooling rack, and let them sit for maybe 10 minutes to cool. Let me show you what I have here. Double chocolate chunk cookies. These are really delicious. That is double good.
We'll get to some more Donut Man eventually.
Hi, I'm Charlie Manover, and today I'm going to show you how to make the world's absolute best pizza dough, equivalent to what you could get in Naples and Italy, or better, using this great new food processor. We have this.
Ooh, I do want to watch that computer animation tape.
Dough blade, and we have a
But,
dough feature button that has
alas,
to make the
our time is
absolute
limited
best dough in the
today.
world. So why don't we get started? All right, I'm going to put the flour in the bowl, and what I've done is I've combined the flour and the temperature of the water for 150. It's a combined temperature. Now I'm going to add my salt and my yeast. Close up the machine.
So we're going to finish this tape, and then we're going to watch Eyewitness.
Now I'm going to add my water.
One Eyewitness tape. And then I have to get like a ready to go to a dog sitter.
Looking very good for pizza dough. I'm going to shut the machine off. Disassemble the top. And feel it. I'm going to take the temperature. It's a perfect 78 degrees. Just the perfect temperature for the fermentation process that we're going to go through. I'm going to remove the bowl from the machine, and I'm going to put it into this nice Pyrex glass. A working bowl. Use plastic or glass. Do not use metal because.
I am yeah. So the thing about Kagoshima is that you can take a ferry from Kagoshima to the volcano, like the island that the volcano is on.
Now,
what's it called again? Sakurajima. So you can go to Sakurajima and you can like walk around and do little hikes, and they have observation platforms and stuff. You can't go all the way up because it's very, very active. It's like the most active volcano in Japan. I think maybe in the world.
Can have nice round pizzas when we're doing it, although you can stretch them out if you like.
I can't speak to anyone else's plans.
Now I'm going to cover the dough balls with plastic wrap and let them rest for at least.
I don't know what is and isn't supposed to be like
You want it to be
content
soft and pliable when you're
that
spreading
people
your
aren't
pizza
allowed to know
dough.
about.
It's 15
But
minutes later,
all I know is
the
that
dough has
I am
risen.
doing this thing with my life that
Nice and soft
I
and
can talk
pliable.
about because it's my
I'm going
life,
to start pressing the pizza out.
and that does involve going to Japan. Yeah.
And this is what way I like to do it. Take it around the edges like this and stretch it out. And just one more time here.
Hey, I don't know what they're doing.
Okay, that's looking good.
They might be going to
Now,
Bosnia
start
for all I
assembly,
know.
We want to make sure we put some cornmeal on the paddle. This is called a paddle or pizza peel. And that's so you can slide the pizza. The worst thing
Thank you, Swift. Thank you.
if it sticks to that. And
I actually really would love to go to Bosnia. Like, Sarajevo seems like a very fascinating city.
The oven upside down, which is no fun.
It's like a cultural crossroads. It, of course, has,
We start
you know, the
assembling
legacy
this
of
margarita,
the
most popular pizza in the world.
Yugoslav
Kids love it,
War
adults love it.
in the 90s and everything, but like,
To me, that's where all pizza starts, and you could always add.
I would love to go to Bosnia, but
So I'm going to spread some of our nice tomato sauce on.
none of my friends are interested in Bosnia.
And then I'm going to have some nice mozzarella cheese. This mozzarella cheese was shredded in the food processor.
And like I don't, you know,
And here's a nice fresh.
there are lots of places I want to go in the world.
Hands. I like.
Not all of them. Like I don't know that the Balkans are that like
They put a small amount,
LGBT
but I
traveler friendly,
flavor. Parmesan
which is like a
cheese
fair
on
point
there.
for people to raise.
Grating of fresh pepper gives it a great flavor, and then what I always
Like
think
I'm sure
about
Sarajevo has a
virgin
scene,
olive
but
oil, which gives
the
it a
region in
wonderful,
general
rich
does not have the sort of tolerance that would allow necessarily everyone to be
Just a
like
little.
totally
Go
open.
overboard with that. Now you want
and
to
that-
make
that- I
pizza
get that.
in a very hot oven, say 500 to 550, at about time of 6 to 8 minutes, and that'll give you.
It's
fantastic
unfortunate
results.
that's
It's a very
the kind of world we live in.
professional pizza. Wow, look at that pizza margherita. You couldn't find anything better than that, even in Naples. Now we're going to make simple, delicious baguettes. A lot of people call them Parisian baguettes.
Cosmo.
Flour, water, salt, and yeast in our food processor. It's a very simple method.
Yeah, we had a
Is weighed everything out.
one of my friends in high school was from Rwanda.
Flour in the
His
bowl.
family had just
My salt, my yeast.
hightailed it out of there.
I'm going to cover my bowl. And, now
And then he had to.
to pour my water in.
He was a guy. He was one of the
I'm going to time it for 45
few
seconds.
people like socially in high school that I got along with pretty
After you
well,
mix
and
dough in
he
this method, you really get a feel for if it's gonna be
his family ended up having to move to London, Ontario,
Now we're at the end of the process, and my dough is just about ready. It's 45
like halfway through high
seconds.
school.
I'm going to shut the machine off, and I'm going to take the top off. I'm going to check my dough. It's perfect. 70, looks like 78, 79 degrees. That's within our parameter. And we'll drop the dough out like this. Be careful when you're doing this. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. Although the dough blade's not all that sharp, but nevertheless, caution is advised. Now we've got our dough ball here. I'm going to put it in a nice glass bowl here. Use glass or plastic, as I've always said. And we're going to cover that, and then we're going to let this proof for, say, 2 to 3 hours for baguettes. That should be plenty, unless you want to do it longer.
I'm sure a lot of you have made bread
Now we're all
before.
set. It's nice and covered.
Has
You don't
anyone
need
made a
air in this
baguette?
stage. This is dough that I previously mixed, and I'm going to. This actually is 2 batches, which is fine.
It seems
And
harder.
Let's take out some of this, and we're going to now. That's about the size of a baguette. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Now at this stage, you want to put a little flour here, and we want to form. This is very soft dough. It's very elastic, and we want to bring it together in balls like this. And I'm going to now cover this, and I'm going to let this. This will be a proof for about 15 minutes, should be fine, and this will allow us to roll our baguettes out very easily. Now our dough's been resting for 15 minutes, and we can roll our baguettes out. So I'm going to put 2 of these aside and work on one at a time. This on the side here. You want to work with a little flour here. Spread that out. See how nice and loose that is. And we're going to roll that out. We want to make sure there's a seam there when we're rolling that out. It's a very simple thing. When you're rolling out, make sure the palm of your hands and the tips of your fingers are touching the table, or else you'll get funny-looking baguettes with great big balls on the end. We call those dumbbells, and you don't want that. They look really ugly. And there's one baguette right there. All right, now I finished rolling my 3rd baguette, and I'm going to...
It really is bothering me how he says baguette.
And let them proof for about 30 to 40 minutes.
It's like when people say when
Like
people
that. Efficient. You can actually
speak English in an American accent and then just say prosciutto.
Stone in the oven. Our bread's been proofing for about 30 or 40 minutes, and I'm going to start slashing the loaves.
Oh my
So
God,
we
this
can be
is
prepared to go in the oven immediately.
that's
This
donut man
is a
quality
nice
right
design,
there.
and it expands on an even basis. And that's very important, or else bread would be very ugly. And that's the proper design. Start at the end, go through like that, and end at the end. Wow, here's your finished baguette. See how beautiful that is, just like a Parisian baguette. See the beautiful slashes, wonderful taste. Your family's going to enjoy them. I'm Charlie Vanover, and happy bread making.
Oh, look at him. Francis. It's Francis. Oh yeah, just on the off chance that people aren't in the Discord yet that would like to be, there is a link, a fresh link. All right, thank you for that. Thank you for enjoying some Cuisinart with us. Let's get to the main event, the thing that everyone's here for. Peter Gabriel. And that is Eyewitness. Once again, Eyewitness dog, fish, site, cat, and elephant. Thank you to Green Day Rock for those.
It's gonna get
and Jacebook sent in Arctic and Antarctic, seashore, shark, amphibian, weather, bird, human machine, volcano, and dinosaur, as well as, let's see, skeleton and jungle, which have not been cataloged yet. So we got, ooh buddy, we got some Eyewitness over there. Is everyone okay with Volcano? Trill mentioned that we could do one that's relevant to my trip, and I do think Volcano would be fun. All right, I'll go get Eyewitness Volcano. Be right back. So all of these, yeah, I mean, there's a very, very slight chance, I guess, that Sakurajima could have like a Vesuvius-style eruption the day that I'm there. In which case, I guess future archaeologists will find my fossilized corpse in the magma fields. But I think I'm pretty safe. I'm not that worried about it. Eyewitness Volcano. This is narrated by Martin Sheen. In fact, I believe all of these that I've just scanned that have been sent in are Martin Sheen. They range from, I think, 94 to 97. So, let's look at Eyewitness Volcano. Can you hear the music already? Praise for Eyewitness videos. Parents' Choice loves it. See the world as never before. Volcano. What creature could survive in a hot lava flow? How can an earthquake in Japan batter lands across the sea? Volcano explores the myths surrounding our planet's violent nature. Journey to the most inhospitable regions of the earth, where rock melts and all life trembles. Witness the destructive effects of volcanoes and earthquakes, and the life-giving results of their aftermath. Narrated by Martin Sheen, DK Vision, BBC Worldwide Americas. Let's do it. It's Eyewitness time. I'm going to grab the music from this one as well, just on the off chance that it's not blocked in Russia. Unlike our other Eyewitness theme song clips. But yeah, here we go. Eyewitness Volcano, sent in by Jacebook. Thank you, Jacebook. Oh, he looks like a pile of radioactive sludge because it made him green, but he is Vic Volcano. Wait, let me cue that up. Marty, a Martin Sheen. Wonderful. I'm assuming this is how you play pan flute.
Volcanoes speak volumes. Powerful, terrifying, spectacular. Each eruption is a window into the earth beneath our feet.
All right, I've been very...
Volcanoes fire our imagination.
I've been a little stressed trying to get this trip planned and get everything in order.
Myths and legends.
Thinking about all the stuff I still have to do.
Beyond the confines of our
And rushing to try and get this stream going. I'm just going to sit back for 35 minutes now and listen to Martin Sheen tell me about volcanoes.
And volcanoes create, even as they destroy.
And I'm going to eat another donut. Yes, let the volcano knowledge wash over you, like the comforting flow of magma over your skin.
Is the product of a shifty planet. From deep inside the earth, the destruction bursts forth, rivers of lava and clouds of ash. As if that's not earth-shaking enough, our fractured planet also shudders with internal contortions. Earthquakes, generated by some of the same global forces that cause volcanoes. It's the ultimate show and tell when the Earth reminds us that its serenity has been a cover-up of gigantic proportions. One reminder arrived in the year 79 AD. High above the Italian towns of Pompeii and Herculaneum, Mount Vesuvius blew its top. Clouds of hot ash rained down on the towns. Even worse, Vesuvius unleashed poison gases. Hot mud and flowing ash made a glowing avalanche. People fell in their tracks.
I'm glad they got this archival footage of Vesuvius.
A way of life was buried for all time. Archaeologists working nearly 2,000 years later discovered the victims. Perhaps none is more poignant than the faithful soldier found still guarding his post. At Pompeii, even the carbonized remains of food, like bowls of walnuts, were locked inside the vaults of time. Across the bay from Pompeii, the future historian Pliny the Younger watched in despair as the city was destroyed. He recorded the fate of his uncle, Pliny the Elder, who tried to observe the eruption, but like so many others, was overcome by poisonous fumes.
Have they made like a mini-series about Vesuvius before?
Volcano, there are many more that slumber dormant.
I feel like it could be very good.
The American Northwest was one such place.
There's a very good,
forest grew and animals
a very, very good YouTube channel called Told in Stone by this guy who's just a historian of ancient Greek and Roman history. And he makes these just very well done videos that are like just kind of on
1984.
The everyday person perspective of ancient Rome.
5,000 citizens had to be evacuated as lava.
And he did this series where like these very dramatic readings of like
more lava flowed each day.
Fictionalized accounts of what it would have been like to be in Pompeii when Vesuvius erupted, and it was very good.
When the earth erupts, it often quakes.
I just want to see like an HBO miniseries about Pompeii in the vein of like Chernobyl, the series.
From any erupting volcano. January 1995 brought devastation to Japan when an earthquake hurtled through the city of Kobe. The quake lasted a few seconds, long enough to bring down 100,000 buildings. Faced with such superhuman power, we have long searched for explanations. How and why do the upheavals occur? And when can we expect the next one? By the 17th century, scientists believed the Earth had a fiery core. They were getting warmer. We now know that the fire is actually molten rock from the Earth's interior. Collecting in underground chambers, the pressurized magma forces its way up and out. But why do volcanoes and earthquakes show up where they do? The answer lies close to the surface. Our planet's thin shell lies in pieces. Like parts of a global jigsaw puzzle, the continents have drifted across millions of years to their present positions. The continents are just the visible...
Have we talked recently about how plate tectonics has only been an accepted theory for less than 100 years? It's from like the 60s.
The Earth gives its spectacular performances.
There we go. Thank you.
Touch as the continents continue to drift.
It changed all of geology and like all of Earth science in general. And in the 60s, they were like, it wasn't in textbooks because it hadn't been thought up or accepted yet.
Rub shoulders, they may snag and try to shake loose. Earthquake. And when two plates grind together, one pushes the other beneath or alongside it. Magma at the collision zone is hotter and lighter than the nearby rock. As it rises, the hot stuff melts more rock along its way. When magma emerges, it takes a new name.
Oh, that means we're all older than plate tectonics then. Or we are all Alan Shepard.
Mount St. Helens, 1980. A century-long catnap was over. Gas dissolved in the lava escaped with such force that the hot rock was blasted into smithereens, creating landslides of mud and ash. The eruption lasted 9 hours, but in just the first 2 minutes, 10 million trees were flattened. Half a million dead trees still float in Spirit Lake, and the mountaintop is now a crater big enough to dwarf the World Trade Center.
Oh, we got a World Trade Center reference, didn't we, there?
Rainwater. While some are beautiful and pure, others are distinctly unpleasant. When
Starry Stride.
Sulfur dioxide and other noxious gases into the water, the lake becomes a lethal cocktail. A steaming crater is the setting for a tale of jealous love told by the Maoris of the South Pacific. Two volcano gods fought as rivals for the affections of another. They hurled lava and boiling water at each other.
I love these graphics. This is peak Eyewitness production.
With rage. According to the legend, the vanquished volcano god went to nurse his wounds beneath the sea. He was in good company. The tellers of this tale seem to know something about the ocean floor, which we have only recently observed. There are eruptions here, too. There are even more volcanoes.
Oh, yeah, this is our second awkward juxtaposition of a volcano. Well, no, the volcano was in San Francisco, wasn't it? But still.
Some undersea volcanoes bring life.
Pretty uncanny.
Active spots called black.
It's almost like it's a government conspiracy, and it has something to do with volcanoes.
The gases
They're trying to tell us something.
Most living things.
That's why Martin Sheen.
That thrive here. Ghostly crabs, eelfish, tube worms that grow.
Oh, he is still alive. That's right. The government hasn't killed him yet for trying to warn us about the volcano 9/11.
But on microorganisms that can absorb sulfuric poison.
It's a good volcano god.
It's an alien realm, but it's here on Earth. For all of us, home is a planet created by seismic forces. In Siberia, volcanoes erupted 1 million years at a time, shaping the landscape with rivers of scorching lava. Siberia is now considerably cooler. A volcano means new Earth in the making. Some undersea volcanoes rise up through the waves far from any plate edge. These are hotspot volcanoes. They form when magma punches through a weak zone in the Earth's crust. The Hawaiian Islands formed like this, and a new one is on its way. It even has a name, but it'll be tens of thousands of years before tourists are playing golf on Loihi. Once lava hardens, life can thrive. Lava tubes fill with water and then with shrimp and fish. More marine animals are quick to move in nearby.
Seal? Was that a seal?
The razor
Did I see a seal?
lava get a new green coat. On isolated islands like Hawaii, animals adapt quickly in order to survive. Finches, blown to the islands millions of years ago, evolved into more.
We don't have time today.
Today,
We have to keep moving.
species has
Molten Swing.
quickly adapted to its own limited
Oh, he is
food
cute.
source.
Look at Molten Swing.
When Earth's shakeups combine
Oh,
with water,
a seal.
results are especially
Sunny, for God's sake!
and earthquakes can create
Sunny, a seal.
tsunamis. When Mount St. Helens erupted, its explosion was just for openers. The vibration sent a wall of water 140 stories tall surging out of Spirit Lake.
I guess if we get a seal mascot, his name has to be Sunny.
It's the coast of Japan that is most regularly menaced by tsunamis. And could a tsunami
Sunny.
have come to the aid of the biblical?
Ah.
The setting for the Red Sea parting is in an earthquake zone. And during the first stage of such a wave, the water level actually lowered.
Oh, look at him.
One
Zippy.
theory
A
is
Shrimpy,
that
the delightful shrimp
rushed
blender.
to safety just ahead of a tsunami's massive surge.
Yeah, you can't. If you try to name them yourself, it will not respect that.
Indonesia
It will Ellis Island, your
insurance policy against the
your friend
destructive
name.
energy of volcanoes. They place a statue of Shiva, god of destruction and creation, on many of the country's mountaintops. Volcanoes may cause mayhem, but they also yield riches. Volcanic ash is full of nutrients from deep within the earth, fertilizer for crops, up to 3 harvests a year in these rice fields, and fertilizer for grapes, growing even on the slopes above Palm.
Destrucra.
Vino Vesuvio? Gems, too, sparkle from the depths. As molten magma cools, the stuff of nightmares is transformed to the stuff of dreams. Rubies, peridots, garnets, and gold can all be found inside volcanoes. And there's sulfur, crystallized from sulfur gas, the reason most volcanoes smell like rotten eggs. Although sulfur can be deadly, we've been mining it for centuries and using it to make rubber more durable in the process called vulcanization.
Ah, volcanization, because it's a volcano.
In Japan, life can be a moving experience, but the nation also harnesses the heat of Earth's fiery nature. Here, a cookout can mean frying your eggs on lava, and volcanic mud puts a whole new complexion on things. Japanese sufferers of rheumatism, arthritis, asthma, and even stomach ailments.
This is the thing.
bury themselves
This is the thing you can do at Kagoshima,
legendary for its healing
where
properties.
I will be in like a little bit.
But in Japan, people aren't the only ones who are happy to take the heat. Even these macaques take advantage of natural hot springs warmed by volcanic heat far below in Earth's internal plumbing system.
Probably not, because I'm only going to be there for like one full day, and I want to do other things. I would totally be down to experience it, but I'd rather like
That plumbing blows
eat-
sky high.
eat
The
tonkatsu
world's
too,
tallest geyser could have rained down on the top of the Empire State Building.
or go to a museum.
Boiling hot and full of noxious gases, the vents called fumaroles appear to be devoid of life. But living things can adapt even here. Bacteria are alive and well in spite of the heat. Born deep inside volcanoes, they lie dormant until an eruption blasts them out.
God, volcanoes seem really scary.
Living things, too, a volcano may be home.
It's like,
live on 4 active volcanoes near Mexico City.
it's like a video game level
More than
that's
600 known to exist.
that you're not yet leveled up enough to go to.
Perhaps one got away. The Aztecs believed
If you're like a prehistoric person with no understanding of what volcanoes are, it's just like a mountain where it randomly explodes and tries to kill you.
when our planet rocks and rolls. A Mexican myth claims that after 5 creations of the world and 4 destructions by fire, hurricane, flood, and jaguar, this world will be shaken to bits by an earthquake. Folklore, but far from far-fetched. The planet has been quaking for as long as we can remember.
Benny the Benui. All right.
Earth takes some of her best shots at the state of California, the meeting point of 2 rocky wrestling plates. In 1906, the San Francisco quake sent the entire city on a roller coaster ride that came to a crashing halt. California's quakes definitely pack a punch, but Japan bears the brunt of Earth's gyrations. 1/10 of the world's
Sonny the Earthquake.
several minor ones
For
every
God's sake.
massive quakes averaging 1 per century.
Uh,
In 1923, Tokyo was completely devastated. No wonder the Japanese fear and revere Mount Fuji, centerpiece of their seismic.
I need to introspect this prompt. I need to ask the model, why are you naming things Sunny? What led you to choose that name?
Protects the Japanese people.
Sometimes they can
Such
explain
protection
themselves.
Must be summoned often.
Ah, it's true. Land of the Rising Sun.
Earthquakes can send cooking stoves tumbling, setting buildings on fire.
Jay Swick, thank you for gifting a sub to Sunny, and Bella, thank you for gifting a sub to Sunny Sucks. The dichotomy of man.
Are fitted with shock absorbers, but they're no match for fire unleashed during a quake. Most of our buildings are still at risk, and with them, lives. The best way to save lives is to predict the Earth's next move. If only that were easy to pin down. An ancient Japanese
I know we're being silly, but all of this,
lies beneath the
I just got chills for a moment thinking about Robin when he was talking about the destruction that earthquakes can do.
Predicting the Earth's next moves with any certainty eludes our grasp as yet. Chinese observers may have a clue. Before one earthquake, turtles jumped out of the water, tigers stopped in their tracks, and a panda held its head and moaned. It seems that animals have finer sensors than we do as yet. But at least our ability to measure Earth's seismic shakeups has grown in other leaps and bounds. Today, when an earthquake hits, the Richter scale is just one of the ways we take its measure. In the aftermath of Mount St. Helens, scientists found plenty to measure. A dome of magma in the crater matched the moon's cycle, swelling and shrinking with the lunar tides. By recording the dome's activity, scientists could predict 17 further eruptions at Mount St. Helens. They used laser light to detect tiny amounts of ground movement, a technique so accurate it's like being able to measure the width of a coin from a passing plane.
Yeah, it was a very compelling story. It was very compelling and striking.
Thomas Jagger was an early volcanologist.
Her friends cared about her, and you could tell.
Built the observatory
And
on
that
Mount
makes
Kilauea, Hawaii.
that makes the loss feel a lot more real to you.
And you can't get much closer than this.
What is that man doing?
Morris and Katia Kraft studied more than 300 volcanoes, filming eruptions around the world. Volcanology is a very dangerous business. The Krafts were both killed in an eruption of one of the volcanoes they had come to study.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen if you do that.
There are alternatives.
That's a
to
shame.
Human observation of volcanoes. Dante is an 8-legged robot.
That's some very ballsy, like 20th century scientist shit. Like, well, we need the data.
Dante entered a lofty inferno.
I can respect
in
that.
Alaska, an active volcano. The journey took 2 days. The heat and gases would have killed a human observer. But no human lives were at risk. Dante sent pictures back to Anchorage, where NASA researchers sat safely indoors. On the return trip, Dante was overwhelmed, not by lava, but by mundane mud. From robots to radar, volcanoes are under our watchful eye. Mount Etna in Italy has had its measurements taken by radar from space, using some of the same technology we use to gaze at more distant volcanoes. This is Mars, and a simulated flyover of a region the size of the United States based on actual images.
We've seen this footage before, haven't we?
Chain of Hawaiian islands could fit inside this one immense crater.
From the JPL thing and the
Olympus
computer
Mons.
tape. This may not be the exact same render, but it looks pretty much identical.
Venus, too, features a fantastic volcanic landscape that is alive only with color. According to myth, the planets Mars, Venus, and Jupiter were gods. Vulcan was the god of fire. After a violent argument, Jupiter hurled Vulcan to Earth, where he unleashed his fiery havoc. He gave his name to the volcano. Legendary volcanoes stretch across time and the planet. In Java, the Hindu faithful believe that the god Brahma created the world and took as his dwelling the heart of a volcano.
Flamius.
Fire mountain.
Yes, of course, Flamius.
Once a year, homage is paid to him in a festival based
It's
on
Vulcan's
ancient
nickname.
event in Hindu tradition. When a royal couple prayed to Brahma for children, he agreed to grant their wish if they promised to give him a son in return. When the joyful parents forgot their promise,
Okay, this animation is really
God
cool too.
snatched the child and took him to dwell with him deep inside the crater. In Ireland, St. Patrick is said to have converted much of the population to Christianity. Yet distant volcanoes may deserve some credit. St. Patrick died
Solus. A, it's not sunny.
took hold.
It's just sunny in Latin.
But the Irish conversion did coincide with catastrophes that hit the region, failed crops and famine that the Bible may have foretold. The likely cause of the failed crops? Volcanic eruptions many miles away, probably in Iceland. Huge clouds of ash can block out the sun.
I should go ahead and update my Twitch schedule to turn on vacation mode while I'm thinking about
After
it.
so much heat, the world grows colder. A record of the change is laid down by silent survivors, trees. If a volcano's ashy outburst has put a chill in the air, trees lay down only narrow rings, revealing a time of little growth. When lava flows, nature records, and it recovers.
Sunny. Sunny side up.
Mount St. Helens has given us a glimpse not only of our planet's destructive force, but of its healing power.
Bye, Bella. Thank you very much.
Dynamites were found
I
on
will
the
see
mountain
you
slopes the very first
on our next
summer
stream, I hope.
after the blast, too far from unharmed land to have walked in. They had survived. There were other survivors, too. Pocket gophers.
Lunar
above
Shady.
Spirit
Okay.
Lake. Their deep burrows and sheltered hollows had saved them from the eruption's terrific blast. the gophers' groundwork brought buried seeds and roots to the surface, where they sprouted.
I was trying to see if it would name the moon Sunny because he was wearing sunglasses.
Elk arrived. Venturing into devastated terrain scientists had believed such large mammals would never inhabit.
Sunny stride.
Mount St. Helens a decade later, there are fertile islands in a former blast zone. A new forest sprouts. But there is even more here than meets the eye. New bacterial relatives of Legionnaire's disease were discovered, 30 in all, and a new form of flu called red zone fever infected scientists.
Moonbeam.
There were even more surprising finds, bacteria that could be related to the first living things on Earth. Volcanoes may throw open a window not only to Earth's rocky internal life, but to tiny life forms.
Sunny Egbert, a sunny eating sunny side up eggs. His name is indeed Sunny, with a U instead of an O.
Despite such revealing ways, our planet remains a mystery. As
Will it, Sunny?
Cracks and quakes and volcanoes burst forth. We only get a brief glimpse into its turbulence. The Earth retains its most shattering trait of all, unpredictability. For all our watching, researching, and recording, we
VHSE.
never know when the Earth will next reveal its deepest secrets.
VHSE. Oh. Let's capture this.
Deepest secrets.
Sunny? Yeah, if only there was someone to raid. We've trained a model to do string concatenation. Ooh, another making up. Hey, thank you for the 100 yen. Eggers 10. Have a good trip. Here's some spending money. Thank you very much. Enjoy your fun points too.
The Eyewitness Museum. Created by combining traditional filmmaking techniques with state-of-the-art graphics. Stripping away.
I love these little featurettes. I'm so glad they have these.
To reveal the essence of each subject. Bringing the world into sharp focus. The making of Eyewitness.
2.
The distinct
Oh my god, the slow jam Eyewitness theme.
for each of the programs. Each half-hour episode is based on a book title. The Eyewitness book's visual style gives the program makers a starting point and a challenge. The challenge of transferring clarity and super realism into moving images and sound. Now let's take a look behind the scenes at the making of Volcano. In Volcano,
Ooh, the
we wanted to
vase.
show the effect of an earthquake by shooting a vase of flowers shattering in slow motion. To do this, we used a small vibrating motor and a helping hand from the art department. Now, for the actual smashing of the vase, the studio had to be cleaned and reset. The camera we used films at very high speed, and it's important that everything is ready at the same time. Stand by. And the director is on hand with a few extra petals. and the final sequence shows all the effort was worthwhile.
I do love the dramatic touch of the extra
The
pedals.
exploding glass of orange juice, a small high-explosive device, was inserted into the base of a special glass.
I love that in the 90s we got to learn about
Sat well to the back of the
geology
studio.
by watching people blow up glasses of orange juice.
With a small electric impulse to shatter the glass. Apart from an orange shower, the effect was achieved. You can never be too careful when glass is flying.
Good thing we have this thin sheet of styrofoam to protect us from exploding shrapnel.
A motion control studio. We built a scale model of a Roman courtyard, through which a special camera travels. Its movements are controlled by a computer.
Good ghost, good ghost. I like his Dragon Ball Z aura. Oh, this is cool. So, motion control is a really neat and fairly old school technology.
Each movement is made using a small joystick and is remembered by the computer.
It's basically pre-programming live camera
It's
movements.
just a simple case of recording it.
Because then you can do this, you can match it up to digital, like 3D footage that you've rendered out with the same camera motion. Or you can do multiple passes of
Shows
the same
destruction of an earthquake. The courtyard
to have different
destroyed.
things that match up and
Luckily, the model
composite them
was built
together.
with this in mind. And with the camera this close, every detail had to be just right. The final shot shows the eerie devastation the team were looking for. The final sequence only lasts a few seconds, but had taken 2 weeks to prepare and a whole day to film.
God bless Eyewitness. They put so much effort into this, and I love it. Series 2, Desert, Tree, Prehistoric Life, Mammal, Butterfly, and... God, there's so many Eyewitness tapes! We have a lot of them now. Shell? A force measure projection. Boy. That was the first in our new big old batch of Eyewitness tapes. Thank you again to Jacebook. I think that's going to do it. Because I have to go pack a suitcase and fold a bunch of clothes and take the dog to the thing. I gotta make sure I have my passport. Who knows? It's gonna be great. Yeah. Thank you all. Hey, thank you for being here. I will miss doing this. It'll be nice to have a break. I know, but I really do enjoy doing this and you know, hanging out, watching tapes with you all. So I'll miss it. I'll be back and we'll do it some more. That should be. I've gone ahead. I made a new event in Discord for the 30th, and I set my Twitch to vacation mode, so the schedule should reflect that the next stream will be on the 30th. Maybe, probably, sort of. Who knows? I don't care that much if I'm like tired, but if I physically can't wake up, or if everyone I know is like converging on the Waffle House in a jet lag stupor at that time, then, you know, we may not do a stream at 10. But for now, plan on our next stream being 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, March 30th. And I will see you then. Anything else? Any parting words from anyone? Gonna go spread the gospel of Peter Gabriel to Japan. Oh, that's a good point, Trill. We should have the outro. Okay. I'll do that. Let me just let me find it. I got it. It's around here somewhere. Outro. Don't wait. OBS is so confusing. There's VLC video source, and then there's just media source, and I want media source, and I want to find the place where I rendered the outro 100 years ago, and that's it, and okay. All right. That's going to do it, folks. Have a lovely day. Have a wonderful rest of March, and I will see you later. Take it easy. Goodbye for now.